the Toosie Slide Challenge, Home Couture, a new Commute, and the Level Up Challenge. Welcome back to Trends. We are back again with a new show. We're trying to do this every week now. I'm trying to be consistent, you know? Trying to be good. That's it. And of course, with that, we like to look at the top trends of the week. What have people been talking about online? What have we been trying whilst we're in lockdown? And what is just keeping us entertained and busy during this period of time? Let's get into it. Okay, so we've got our 4 trends. We'll have a look through our 4 trends, have a little talk about each one of them, and then at the end of the show, we'll try and squeeze out what we think is the trend of the week, which is always a tough task. I'm going to have to get other people on because I'm not even sure. Well, my opinion doesn't mean nothing. So trying to pick a trend of the week, you might completely disagree with me. But of course, we'll see what happens. Okay, trend number 1. We talked a little bit about this last week, but it has continued to be a very, very popular trend. I thought, you know what? We need to talk about it. It is the Toosie Slide Challenge. Drake is back again. And of course, it seems to be now that whenever he comes up with a new song, it also has a video challenge to go with it. And the Toosie Slide Challenge is one of those. If you've heard his new single, it's called Toosie Slide, hence the name Toosie Slide Challenge. The single came out a little while ago, but it seems now that we have got this dance challenge. People have been doing it on a number of places online, but the most popular place is, of course, TikTok. The dancing video place, if you want to do videos and dancing, is TikTok. Now, what I find really interesting about the Toosie Slide Challenge is normally with these trends, there's like one specific way you do it, and that's it. Like, there's either a dance routine in the video or the artist releases a dance or something, and everybody sees that that's the dance you do with that song. Well, the Toosie Slide Challenge seems to have divided people a little bit. Like, it's just, yeah, like, there are 2 schools of thought when it comes to the Toosie Slide Challenge, and you're either in one of the 2 camps. So with the Toosie Slide Challenge, Drake sings right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide. Okay, that is what he teases you with. That is the lyrics that you have to let you know what to do for the dance routine. Not necessarily the most obvious, but at least it's fairly simple, you know? You're lifting one foot up, but the other one's going to slide. So we have an idea of how this is supposed to work. But how on earth do you do it? Now, there seems to be some people, the first way of doing this is that you literally kind of like slide one way or the other depending on where he tells you to go with the lyrics when you're playing the video. Very, very simple, easy to do. If you're like me, you don't necessarily have some big dancing background, you're not good at dance videos, that is probably the easiest thing to do, you know? And at least if this song ever comes out when you're out and about in the near future and you want to be able to look a little bit cool doing the Toosie Slide Challenge, he's given you very, very simple steps that you can do whilst you're listening to the song. Simple, great. Now, the second way in which the Toosie Slide Challenge is done, which I've seen a number of people do, is turning it into the moonwalk. I don't know how this happened, but man, I am so grateful that it did. Where if you actually listen to the lyrics of Drake doing the song, it actually translates really, really well into teaching someone how on earth to do the moonwalk. Now, I'm not saying that I am a great dancer. I'm just putting out that I do not know how to dance properly. However, when I was in school, they did teach us how to do the moonwalk, and although I'm not great at it, it's a little bit of a party trick that I like to whip out because, I mean, it always looks pretty cool when you can do the moonwalk. Anytime. I know you probably don't believe me, and I'm probably going to have to I might have to film my own Toosie Slide Challenge to prove to you that I can do the moonwalk, But just for the sake of arguments today, I can do a very simple moonwalk. I'm not very good at making it look good, but I can do a moonwalk. Okay. So what amazes me with this is how it's translated into teaching someone how to do the moonwalk. I actually would love to hear or see if anybody has actually attempted to learn how to do the moonwalk from listening and watching the videos, like from people teaching you how to do it on TikTok or listening to Drake's song. Have you been able to learn how to do the moonwalk? Does this actually work? Which means that the next time you hear that song coming on and you want to impress your friends, you can whip out the moonwalk, man. That is like an age-old dance move that everybody's always wanted to know how to do, and it's like that little tricky thing. You could be one of those people. I mean, Justin Bieber's done it. I mean, if the Biebs has done it, you know it's kind of up there at some point. The question is, which way is the right way to do the Toosie Slide challenge? Now, because I don't know which is the right way. I mean, you could learn one and think you've got it, and when you actually don't. Although I do think that learning the moonwalk, irrespective, is a good thing to do. I mean, who doesn't want to show off doing the moonwalk? Now, I have noticed in some of the videos, they take a bit more of the lyrics of Drake's song because he actually says in the song, I can dance like Michael Jackson. So there's a good indication that potentially he's teaching you to do the moonwalk. I'm just going to throw it out there. Is Drake trying to teach us all how to do the moonwalk through the Toosie Slide challenge? I think there's a good chance he might be. But I'll leave that one up to you. That is trend number 1 this week. Trend number 2 is an Instagram trend, and it's all about just enhancing and embracing fashion at home. Because of course right now, with a lot of us being in lockdown, we're not able to go to the shops and to buy new things, new fashion items, and maybe you're feeling a little bit like, you know what, I want to wear something nice, but I have no opportunities to. I just want to get more and more creative, maybe you're really bored. Well, this might be for you, because this Instagram trend is called home couture. I love it when anything has the word couture in it. I was like watching old reruns of Queer Eye a few months back, and one of the presenters on there would use the word couture all the time when he was talking about fashion. And I was like, but what does couture even mean? I still don't really think I know, but it sounds so fancy. So the fact that you can engage in an Instagram trend about home couture just makes me a little bit excited. You can feel like you're wearing like upscale fashion at home. And it's really simple to get involved. All you need to do for home couture is to get a bit creative and invent your own fashion statements, your own fashion pieces from household items. What can you find around the house to put on a high-end fashion piece? And looking through the Instagram feed, there are a number of resources that you can use to really, really engage with home couture. One of them being the pillow dress. That's right. And I've seen a number of people doing the pillow dress. All you need is to get a pillow and put it in front of you. Obviously a long pillow, like a pillow that you would use in bed, you know, to sleep on. So you want one of those kind of bed pillows with a belt, and all you're going to do is put the pillow in front of you and tie a belt round your waist, and you have now got a lovely home couture mini dress, apparently. If you're not feeling that confident, you could have it as like a top with some leggings, but the home couture pillow dress is really a thing that people are getting into. And depending on like how fancy your bedding is, it can look quite different. It could be quite plain. You could go for the very simple, sophisticated look. Or if your bed is a little bit more out there, you know, more outlandish patterns and designs. But from just 2 items, a pillow and a belt, you have made a dress. Simple but effective. Another thing that seems to be used by a lot of people for home couture is using shopping bags. That's right, you now have a use for all those shopping bags that you're not using at the moment. It seems, especially the big bag for life bags that you use when you go to supermarket shopping, are really, really popular. One way in which they're used to do home couture, which seems very effective, is to take the strap, obviously a long strap, put it over your head, and that creates a lovely neck piece to begin your dress or your top, whatever you want to make. And then kind of like using belts and stuff, they kind of tie it around, and some of them just use one bag, some use like two to make a whole dress. You could have a top or just a dress. Or some people, if you've got paper bags, are then kind of making new designs. So then not only have they got a little dress, they also have a little hairpiece, a matching hairpiece to go with the outfit. All from bags, plastic or paper bags. It's amazing. It does seem that dresses and tops are a lot easier to do. I love the fact that the handles of the bags can also be used to kind of just add that little extra, the little bit extra with the neckline. The only thing I would say, please, if you do try this out, please don't. Just don't. I don't want you to get your head stuck in a bag if there's not enough string around for it to go around your head, because that wouldn't be good. Next time you do your shopping, you just twist it around and chuck stuff in whilst it's around your neck. It wouldn't be good. Don't do it. So lots of effective ways in which to do home couture. Another thing that seems to be very, very in with home couture is to find fashion statements from runways, some big outlandish fashion statements from runways, and trying to recreate them at home. And one way in which this seems to work very well is with bin bags, because of course on the runway you get some really outlandish statements and pieces, and maybe they're not something that you would wear out and about, but it's just sort of celebrate fashion and you know, creativity and all that stuff. So you could try this at home. Somebody has blown up bin bags. It looks like they're blown up. I hope they're not using used bin bags. And then what they're doing is, because once they're blown up, they're kind of big and puffy. And then they create a whole like almost dress piece with these big fluffy pieces to create their own home couture. It's fantastic. Or making a dress out of bin bags. I haven't seen anybody making trousers. Trousers doesn't seem to be quite that big. Another good idea, if you want to recycle some of your boxes, because a lot of us are ordering stuff on Amazon lately and on other places online, you're going to get cardboard boxes. Using the leftover cardboard, make yourself an outfit. My favourite ones look almost flat packed, so then you almost become like a 2D person with your outfit. It's great. And finally, another good resource that you can use for home couture is your duvet. Especially if you're missing the opportunity to go out and about in a lovely ball gown. You could create an environment at home. Maybe you have a lovely meal and you're thinking, I want a new dress. I want a lovely big ball gown to wear out, to feel sort of fancy. What about your duvet? Take your duvet, and a number of people have made dresses, ball gowns. What amazes me is how they're able to, using the material, make it look so elegant. Some of them look fantastic, and I'm like, how on earth did you do that? I'm sure there's an element of like tucking and belts. Belts do seem to really help out when you're making home couture items, so it's well worth checking out. And I would really love to hear if you have had to go any home couture, because I think that this could be a way of just engaging with fashion in a whole new light. It's almost like those fashion shows when they're given a challenge, like on RuPaul's Drag Race, and they're like, here's a bunch of stuff, make something. You just got your house and the household items, what can you create for home couture? Our next trend is the new Commute, with us all being at home at the moment, our commutes to work have changed quite a bit. Let's be fair. And what I love about this trend is the fact that it's now got people making up their own commutes to work, recreating those great and awkward moments that you used to have either in the car, on the bus, or on public transport, maybe it's a train, and recreating them at home. I don't know how good that is to do, but we are doing it, and I'm all here for it. This trend involves people dressing up as if you're going out to work, recreating your work commute at home. Thinking about those awkward moments, those moments that you just don't want to kind of relive, but you have to do it every day before the lockdown. So you're just sharing a little bit with people online. And of course, this has gone really popular on TikTok this week. We have a lot of trends from TikTok this week. It's been very busy over there. I think some of my favourite ones are the ones that recreate the experience that you would have on a train or bus or the tube. Because those are places where you're surrounded by lots of other people, and although they might not be in the video, you can kind of recreate some of those awkward moments just with yourself and your camera. There seems to be on like TikTok some audio of like a crowd talking and chatting as if you were actually out and about with a crowd trying to commute to work. Some of my favourites as well, when they're recreating the tube, they've got like some tube audio playing underneath. And the ones that are really committed to this challenge actually like do the waving of their body as if they're on the tube, as if the tube's slowing down, and they kind of, you know how if you're standing up on a tube or a bus, you know, you're going with the movement of the carriage. And that is exactly what they're doing. You know they're in a bathroom, and yet they're making it look like they're actually out and about on some piece of public transport. They've got a book, or maybe they're just trying to avoid contact with everybody else on the train. Amber Thorne has done one where it's in the shower, and you know how busy it can get on the tube during rush hour. Well, she's kind of recreated that. I'm assuming it's her parents in the video, and they're using their walk-in shower, and they started going in, and it starts to fill up, because how many people do you think it takes to fill in a walk-in shower? Not that many. And then she comes along with like suitcases and a backpack and just squeezing in, as awkward as it would be on the actual tube. I mean, it's so awkward. Have you ever tried going on public transport like that on the tube when you have like a big suitcase and backpacks and you're heavily laden down? You know everybody's going to hate you. This is why I hate doing it. They're all going to be eyeing you up being like, oh, somebody with loads of bags. And it's unavoidable. You're going to be that nuisance, and yet you have to get on the train. It's just reliving that awkward moment for everybody. A few other people in their home commute videos are just showing how their commute has changed during the lockdown. And so instead of recreating their commute to work, they're just literally like getting out of bed, getting to their laptop. That's pretty much it. I love how honest it's being as well. Some of them, you know, some of them have the transformation to actually getting up in the morning, and some just go from like still in pajamas onto the laptop, done. So it does make me wonder, like, are we going to want to change our commutes when we get back to work? I don't know. But I also like the fact that even though a lot of us hate our commutes, it's not something that's enjoyable. You have to do it every day, and it just becomes a little bit monotonous sometimes, that we're recreating it. Like something that you might loathe has now become a trend. And you don't have to do it right now, and yet you're creating it. You're spending a bit of time to recreate your commute to work. Like, you probably might not even want to be thinking about work, and yet here you are, reliving moments on the tube or the train for the purpose of a TikTok video. I mean, the dedication is amazing. Our final trend of the week is the Level Up Challenge, another video challenge this week. And this one, again, seems to have just caught traction over the last few weeks and it's blown up. Now, I love this challenge, but I think it also shows that we have way too much toilet paper at home. Like, we're suddenly realising that, oh wow, like we did buy a lot of toilet paper and we're not going to be using it that fast. So we might as well come up with use for the toilet paper, which is the level up challenge. Because this only works if you have a lot of toilet paper. We might be like 5 weeks into the lockdown, but we still have a lot of toilet paper. Now, this trend involves you having a pet and toilet paper and a doorway. That's pretty much all you need. Now, it's very simple. You're going to create a little barrier with the toilet paper and then get your pet to jump over it. And then every time they jump over it, you add another layer of toilet roll to the challenge. See how many levels of toilet roll they can jump over. Pretty simple, but very effective. The way this works best, I have found, is with cats, because obviously cats are very good at jumping and they're quite agile. And they can get to some quite good levels. Bearing in mind that you need enough toilet paper to cover the whole archway, the whole doorway. So you need enough toilet paper to cover the whole doorway. So I'm not going to do the maths because, man, that's not going to happen. But like, it takes on average about 5 to 6 rolls of toilet paper to cover the bottom layer of a doorway from most of the videos. So, you know, you've got, because you don't want to have any gaps where the animal, the cat or the dog are going to like walk through and not jump, because that doesn't make any sense. So you've got to create that barrier, so you're using about 5 to 6 rolls of toilet paper for each level that you're going through. This is a lot of toilet rolls. And then once they jump over one, you're then adding another 5 or 6 to keep adding layers. Some of them have, if you have more than one pet, then you can have like verses and see who's going to do better than the other. But what I've noticed is with a lot of these, cats seem to generally get higher than dogs. I think the best I've seen a dog do is about level 6. They can't seem to get past level 6, where I've seen cats going 7, 8s and, you know, quite high. I don't know if I've seen a 9 yet. So 9, if somebody can do a 9, that would be impressive. I would love to try this at home. But I think it's great. Like, you just need a doorway, some toilet rolls and a pet, and you can have some fun. Also, you're keeping your cat or dog fit and healthy with a little jumping challenge at home, you know? It's great. Only downside though, so Betty the bulldog is not necessarily that energetic, and I have debated whether or not to try this with Betty. But I am loath to think that she's actually going to make it over level 1, to be honest. I don't want to bash Betty, but like, we have to know where your strengths and weaknesses lie. Jumping over stuff, Betty, is not your strength, I'm afraid. No, I'm really sorry. But you know what? We did do noughts and crosses with Betty, and she did very well in keeping up with that one. So she was a sore loser when she lost. But there are things that she can do. Maybe we could attempt it. Also, she's very stubborn, so the likelihood is that she's going to try and come and jump over stuff when I'm calling her is probably not going to happen. I don't know. I think it's going to be a bit of motivation there, because I know she will jump on a bed. She can jump when she chooses to. If it's soft and fluffy somewhere, she's going to go there. So potentially the height of my bed, she might be able to make it, even though I don't like her on my bed. She always goes on there. So, I don't know, thinking about this, she might do it. We could give it a go. I don't want her to get hurt. My favourite thing, though, of watching these videos, which hopefully happen with Betty, is the fact that once it gets too high, either you just kind of like see this halting of the poor cat or dog just being like, no, there's no chance I'm doing that. Or they do make some sort of an attempt and just crash through the toilet rolls, which is fantastic. It's my favourite bit of watching the whole thing happen. It's just watching this barricaded toilet roll just break apart as people go through. So for nothing else, I would hope that Betty would bash through the toilet rolls to give us that shot, because it'll be the best bit. It'll be so much fun. So we might have to try that. We'll see how it goes. Well, those are our 4 trends of this week. An eclectic mix of different things. We've had the Toosie Slide challenge. We've had home couture, the new Commute, and level up. And they've all been really enjoyable this week, I must admit. This is really tough actually this week. I haven't really had a chance to think about which one would be the trend of the week. It's like so hard to choose between them. I don't know. You know what, I think, looking at them all, I think that the level up challenge is my trend of the week. Surprisingly enough, because it's so much fun. And I'm loving, who doesn't love animal videos? Let's be fair, they are proven and effective. Done it, animal videos, the level up challenge. Can we see anybody beating like a 7 or an 8 on the level up challenge? Because I want to see somebody go pretty high with that. Well, that's it from me this week. Thank you so much for watching or listening. And of course, keep up to date with me on Twitter at Kaylee Hillier. Or of course, we have got our new Instagram page where we're sharing some of our favourite trends every week as well at we_love_trends with a Z. And I'll see you next time.